where junior and emerging miners in South Africa face a litany of obstacles in the mining industry, including the energy crisis, dysfunctional regulation and logistical difficulties. Newzroom Afrika's business reporter Ntokozo Khumalo has had chats with some of those miners at the Mining Indaba Exhibition Center, and she joins us now to tell us about the smaller players in the industry, Ntokozo, and what we're hearing from them.
Good afternoon, Dudu. Well, over the last 2 days, the theme that has certainly come out is the just energy transition, as well as how the energy crisis is affecting the mining industry in South Africa. And certainly, smaller and emerging miners are certainly affecting that hit. And to help me explore this a little further, I am now joined by the CEO of the African Exploration, Mining and Finance Corporation, Lemohang Pitso. Thank you so much for your time today. Now, we've both heard from both Minister Gwede Mantashe and President Cyril Ramaphosa highlighting that obviously the energy crisis is having an effect on the mining industry. For the smaller and emerging miners, how is it really hitting, and what is the industry doing about it?
Thank you, Ntokozo. The problem is we are operating on a South African national grid. So when there's load shedding, like everybody else, we get affected. Obviously, we need to produce at 100%. Our way bridges were working on electricity before we converted them into alternative energy. But then you've got the traffic lights where our trucks have to move. And if there's no traffic lights, obviously the traffic is moving at a quite slower rate. So we in coal business, we're supplying one of the power stations of Eskom. Instead of supplying what we're supposed to supply per day, you end up supplying 60 to 70%, which is not adequate. And because it's not adequate, it makes your revenue for that month inadequate. So yes, we are affected. And because we are affected, our suppliers are affected. But we are moving towards using alternative energy or generators where we can, inverters, IPUs, anything that we can use so that we can subservient the problem as it is.
Now, as I just said, a lot of the conversation has been around moving from high, emitting fuels such as coal to moving to renewable energy. As a coal miner yourself or a coal company, how are you dealing with that transition?
I think the renewables are offering a great opportunity for global market. For South Africa, I can tell you now, 80% of our energy comes from base load, which is coal. And if you talk 100% industrial energy, that comes from coal. So as much as I think there need to be transition from coal to renewables, it is a bit unrealistic to say we can leave coal tomorrow and be up and running. The factory in Rosebank, the factories in Rosslyn, the factories in Hammanskraal, they cannot run purely on solar, wind, or any other alternative energy. They need base load. So there's a solution for that, and this country needs to have a mix of energy alternatives. We really need to keep our coal going so that our factories, our manufacturing base is ongoing. And alternatively, we need to use gas or solar, well, mostly for residential. I mean, we're not saying renewables are not great, but we need to be there as a country to move from one transition to the other. We've done this before. We've moved from horses to cars, and it was a good transition. We've moved from analog telephones to digital telephones. So it's not something we should be afraid of. It's something that we should embrace. But in that process, we must take along the people who will be affected negatively if we close all the coal power stations today. So we need to have alternatives and be considerate of people in this continent. So some countries have got 12% electrification. We should be talking how much are we as a country or as a continent we're going to electrify the continent, be it gas, be it LNG, be it whatever, other than saying let's move away from a certain electrification mechanism.
Thank you so much, Lemohang, for your time. Of course, that was Lemohang Pito, who is the CEO of the Africa Exploration, Mining and Finance Corporation, telling us that transitions have happened throughout our lifetimes. We've transitioned from horses to cars. So what the solution might be for South Africa's energy crisis, specifically the smaller miners in the industry, is for us to have a mixed bag of energy sources, mixing in solar and renewable, but also leaving space for coal. For Newzroom Afrika, Channel 405, I'm Ntokozo Khumalo in Cape Town.
Thank you very much, Ntokozo Khumalo.